In the middle of East Texas, there's a small school inside of a small town, Hudson High School in Hudson, Texas. In this town, sports reign supreme, and without football, basketball takes over as king. Today, we'll take a deeper dive into why they call it Heartbreak Hudson. Now, don't get it all wrong. The sports programs have had plenty of success, with softball having won 2 state championships, baseball producing a 2-time World Series champion in Brandon Belt, cross country makes a state run just about every year, track with a few state champions and more district titles than you can count across the athletics program. But what of basketball? Well, you see, over the last 10 years or so, it seems there's been a curse put on the program that's been labeled the first round scaries, because the team has struggled to get past the first round of the playoffs. In 2013, 2015, 2017, 2019, and most recently in 2023, Hudson basketball won their district but was knocked out by a 4 seed in the first round. But things were a bit different for one team there in the middle of that run, the 2016 team that made it 4 rounds deep.
Talking about 2016, that was a great time. I mean, I played with the 2017 team. We lost first round to start the trend. And that year we had talent. It wasn't like 2016. When you have, 8 brothers that will in practice at 6 and go straight to Hoss and play every single day. Every weekend we got together and we played. We went 8 together. It was different. We could get onto each other and it wasn't personal. We knew what would make each other better. We pushed each other. We know who didn't do that well, who did this well. So we played our role, which was the biggest thing. Everybody knew their role.
And it probably didn't hurt having a district MVP.
Exactly. When you have a 5'6" redhead that can go give you 34 at any time, that helps. I guarded Josiah every day in practice to where we would almost fist fight, and he still would score majority of the time. And I knew every move he had. He was tough. I think the main difference was like you said, we had an MVP. There was an MVP twice since then in Hudson. And I think the difference is the people around that MVP knew their role.
The 2023 season seemed it may go similar to that of the 2016 season, until it didn't. After the soon-to-be Hornet of the Year fouled out, everything was downhill from there. And the night wouldn't end there either. It was another heartbreaking end to a promising year for the Hornets. But, as last year's hopes became obsolete, this year's hopes appeared to become a promise.
I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to make it work.
All
I know is I looked at the score on Huddle. It comes down because it had to be the next day because it came back. And the score is 66-66. I'm like, no way.
Yeah, immediately text us.
Get out of here. So I watched again the whole game, and I'm looking at all our points scored, and I'm watching, and that's it right there. Jake, he walks off and everybody walks off like he made it, and it was just a miss, and it went straight down. Of course, Huddle thought that he made it too, because you can't see the goal the way the camera's showing, the way the camera's angled, and I was like, that's it. That's it. We tied. We tied, or we won, whatever the case was. We should have went to overtime. And it was then it was that moment. I could not sleep. I had my wife jacked up.
I woke up Hannah. I know.
I had my wife pumped up. She's texting my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law's biggest fan. Whatever. She's pumped up. I'm calling Westbrook. I'm calling the coach, the other coach. He's like, man, I don't know what we can do. I don't know if we can do anything.
I think late night's an understatement. It's one of those nights, game's over, you're ready to wrap things up, finally get to lay down and just kind of hopefully clear your mind after everything. And late at night, get a phone call from head coach Jeff Brantner. And I didn't know what to expect really when I saw his name pop up. Of course, you hope that it's some good news, but of course after a first round exit, you don't think of what could be good news. But he gives me a call and asks me about my video footage. And number one, if a coach is asking you to play back something on video footage, it also makes us feel good knowing that what we're doing matters not only to the families watching, but to the coaches. Because you can only do so much with automated cameras, which very thankful for Huddle. But the huddle footage that they had didn't capture everything they needed, or the footage that they had, Huddle may have counted an extra basket somewhere. But that's what he had called me for, is that apparently Huddle had added an extra point for the Hudson Hornets, and what should have made the game a tie game at the end of regulation. So of course, it's almost just emotions and memory flowing just right back at it. And so that's whenever I decide to reach back out to Andrew, because he talked to me about keeping the book that game. It was a little 1-2 punch there on the broadcast side, and he was able to keep the book, and I didn't know what final score he had on things, and so decided to tell Coach Brantner to give it a second, gave Andrew a call. And while Andrew and Coach Brantner talked things over, which probably they talked things over, I would say, for at least 10 to maybe 20 minutes, I decided to kind of go silent and pull back up the video footage that I had, because they were talking about one specific play that the Huddle camera did not capture, and that would have been a Jake Slayton free throw. After 10 minutes, like 10 to 20 minutes of digging for that footage, finally found it. And again, it was like those emotions hitting all over again. You guys, Andrew and Jeff, I don't know, discussed whatever on the phone. I had almost tuned out at that point, and I was just trying to find the video footage, found it, and sure enough, Huddle had got it wrong, and Jake had ended up missing that free throw. It just had looked like whenever the inbound came in, just was perfectly lined up where an inbounds would come in, but it was just a simple grabbing the rebound.
8.3 for the Hornets. Down by 1. Hornets have got to get something here. Season on the line. Landon Greer will inbound. Greer gets it in the hands of Jake Slayton. Jake Slayton kicks it out with 6 seconds. Larson driving the lane. Larson kicks it out. It's a turnover by the Hornets, and that will do it. Spring Hill comes into Tenaha and upsets the Hornets. The 4 seed takes down number 1. Wow. Hornets are speechless. Tough break for the Hornets here in Tenaha, losing 66-65. Spring Hill gave it everything they had.
We said the key at the end of the game was taking care of the ball and making your free throws.
And we just unfortunately could not get it done here in Tenaha. And a stunner for the Hornets.